Hi everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to walk through how to use the cloning feature in AOMEI Backupper, a powerful tool for backing up, restoring, and cloning your drives with ease. Let's dive right in. First, ensure that AOMEI Backupper is installed on your computer. If you haven't done so already, visit the AOMEI Backupper website and navigate to the download section to get the latest version. Once installed, launch the application. When the main interface opens, you'll notice several options listed in the left-hand sidebar. To proceed, click Clone in the left sidebar menu. Here you'll find three main options: System Clone, Disk Clone, and Partition Clone. Unfortunately, these options are not working in the trial or free version, but I already have my key ready to activate the software. Quick explanation about the types of cloning. The System Clone function. This is great if you want to move your Windows system to a new drive. You can move the Windows system drive to a bigger disk or move it from a hard disk to an SSD. The disk clone clones the entire disk, including all partitions. This is used to clone entire drives and not only the system partitions. Partition clone is what it says. It lets you clone just one specific partition from one disk to another. For this demo, I'll show you how to perform all three functions of disk cloning. Just a quick pause at this point. I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for helping this channel reach 1,000 subscribers. Your support truly means a lot, and it keeps me motivated to create more helpful content like this. If you're enjoying the video and haven't subscribed yet, please consider clicking the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Thanks again. And now let's continue with our demo. I have a 120GB SSD here, which I'll connect to the system now. As you can see, this drive currently has no partitions. It's completely unallocated. At this point, you'll see your main system disk listed along with any other drives currently connected to your computer. In my case, the system disk is labeled Disk 0, and the new SSD I've connected shows up as Disk 1. Important note: the destination disk must not contain any partitions. If it does, you'll need to delete them before proceeding. Go ahead and select the destination disk as the target for the clone. Click Next to continue. You'll now be presented with an operation summary, which details exactly what changes the software will make. If you're cloning to an SSD like me, make sure to check the box labeled SSD alignment. Enabling this will optimize the partition layout for solid-state drives, improving read and write performance. Now, click Start Clone to begin the process. You may see a message informing you that the destination disk has a different partition style compared to the source. If prompted, click Yes to allow the software to convert the disk as needed. Keep in mind that the duration of the cloning process will vary depending on the size of your source disk and the speed of your drives. Be patient, it may take some time. Once the cloning process is complete, we can verify the result. Open Disk Management, and you should now see that the 120GB SSD contains two partitions. These are your cloned system partitions. Let's now boot from the new SSD. Everything looks good. The system boots successfully, and everything looks normal. Open this PC to confirm that your system has been cloned correctly. I found this entire process to be both simple and reliable. AOMEI Backupper did a great job handling the system clone without any issues. Now, for the next part of this demo, we'll be using the disk clone feature. Unlike system clone, which only copies the operating system and system-related partitions, disk clone is used to clone an entire disk including all partitions, system files, personal data, and boot records from one physical drive to another. This is especially useful if you're upgrading to a larger drive or replacing a failing disk. To begin, click Clone again from the left-hand menu, but this time choose Disk Clone. One additional step in this process is selecting the source disk first. In my case, I'll choose Disk 0 again, which contains my current system and data. Once selected, click Next. You'll now be prompted to choose the destination disk. This will be the disk that receives a full copy of the source, including all partitions. Select your destination disk carefully. Remember, all existing data on this drive will be overwritten during the cloning process. After selecting the correct destination, click Next. At the bottom of the summary screen, you'll see the familiar SSD alignment option. If your target disk is an SSD, make sure to check this box. It ensures optimal performance by aligning partitions correctly for SSD architecture, which improves both speed and longevity. Once confirmed, click Start Clone to initiate the disk cloning process. Before the process begins, you may encounter a warning message indicating that the destination disk differs in partition style or may not be bootable until certain changes are made. If this appears, go ahead and click Yes to proceed. Keep in mind that as with system cloning, this process can take some time depending on the size of the disk and the speed of your hardware. Make sure the system remains powered on and undisturbed while cloning is in progress. Now let's verify the result. You can do this by opening Disk Management. There, you should see that the destination drive now contains all partitions from the source disk, replicated exactly including any recovery, EFI, or data partitions. This confirms that the entire disk has been successfully cloned. For the final part of this video, I'll demonstrate the partition clone feature. Unlike the previous two methods, system clone and disk clone, partition clone allows you to clone a specific partition rather than the entire disk. This is especially useful if you want to migrate or back up only certain sections of a drive, such as a data partition, without affecting the operating system or other partitions. Let's get started. From the main interface, click Clone in the left-hand sidebar, and this time, choose Partition Clone. You'll now be prompted to select the source partition. This is the individual partition that you want to copy. Browse through the list of available partitions and select the one you need. Once selected, click Next. If you encounter a prompt or warning message, for example, if the software needs to adjust partition formats or sizes, go ahead and click Yes to continue. Now, select the destination partition, which is the partition that will receive the cloned data. Again, be aware that any existing data on the destination partition will be overwritten, so double-check your selection. Click Next to proceed. Before starting the cloning operation, check whether the destination is an SSD. If so, don't forget to enable the SSD alignment option at the bottom of the screen. As mentioned before, this ensures that the partition layout is optimized for SSDs, improving performance and lifespan. Finally, click Start Clone to begin the cloning process. The time required will depend on the size of the partition and the speed of your storage devices. Once the process is complete, you can verify the result by opening Disk Management. Here, you'll see the destination partition now mirrors the content of the source partition exactly. And that wraps up our demonstration of all three cloning methods in AOMEI Backupper: System Clone, Disk Clone, and Partition Clone. 3 simple, clean ways to clone your system or data. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips. Thanks for watching.